Hi, this is Jen for Status Coup, and I'm here with an update about the former Vice President Joe Biden accusation that was made by former Assemblywoman of Nevada, Lucy Flores. So let's get into what happened as a refresher or as the first time if you haven't seen it yet. So this is in the cut, and she said that during a campaign event, she was with Joe Biden. He had come to support her. And here, Lucy Flores is with Eva Longoria and former Vice President Joe Biden. And back then, he was the vice president, so he had a lot of power. And she says, I found my way to the holding room for the speakers. So this was during a campaign event, once again, where everyone was chatting, taking photos, and getting ready to speak to the hundreds of voters in the audience. Just before the speeches, we were ushered to the side of the stage where we were lined up by order of introduction. As I was taking deep breaths and preparing myself to make the case to the crowd, I felt two hands on my shoulders. I froze. Why is the Vice President of the United States touching me? I felt him get closer to me from behind. He leaned further in and inhaled my hair. I was mortified. I thought to myself, I didn't wash my hair today, and the Vice President of the United States is smelling it. And also, what in the actual fuck? Why is the Vice President of the United States smelling my hair? He proceeded to plant a big, slow kiss on the back of my head. My brain couldn't process what was happening. I was embarrassed. I was shocked. I was confused. So Lucy Flores went through that, and if you haven't seen yet, there are actually a lot of accounts where this has happened. People haven't come forward and accused him of anything, but there are lots of photos and videos of him approaching and touching women and children, young girls, in a way that clearly makes them uncomfortable. They're shifting away from him, they're cringing, the looks on their faces show that they're uncomfortable. But at this point, Lucy Flores is the only one who has come forward. Now, we have journalist Ryan Grimm, who witnessed such encounter, or an encounter such as that, not Lucy Flores's, but he says, I was unfortunate enough to be standing outside the old Senate chamber watching Vice President Joe Biden as he swore Heidi Heitkamp in, and said to her, spread your legs, you're going to be frisked. Everyone watching just looked at each other like, JFC, what is with this guy? So Ryan Grimm, he writes for The Intercept. He's a credible journalist. It's very disturbing that this is seen by so many people and yet no one has done anything. And as Lucy Flores points out, there can't have been no one who's pointed this out to him like, hey, Joe, this is not appropriate. Stop doing that. Stop touching women. Stop saying terrible, gross things. Stop groping her. Stop smearing people with your big, wet kisses. It may not reach the level of sexual assault. It depends on if there are things we haven't heard about yet, or, it's a very gray area where kissing and touching without consent or in an inappropriate way, how the woman would judge that or label that. But it's absolutely inappropriate. There's no two ways about it. And at this point, Joe Biden has not announced a run for the presidency. So who knows if this will affect that. Lucy Flores came out with it before he could announce or would announce, if he's even going to announce. And this is a major problem. I can't see him winning the Democratic primary, despite the polls saying over and over that Joe Biden is the front runner, again, even though he's not running yet. But this and more will come out. There's a guarantee about that. There's a lot of buried stuff about Joe Biden that really puts people at unease. So I want to kind of follow up with Lucy Flores again, because she's given some updates. She went on CNN with Jake Tapper and gave commentary. CNN has tweeted, former Nevada Assemblywoman Lucy Flores alleges Joe Biden kissed the back of her head in 2014 at a campaign rally. It was shocking because you don't expect that kind of intimate behavior. You don't expect that kind of intimacy from someone so powerful. And let's listen to her here.
That day in November 2014, The Vice President Biden has come to Nevada for a campaign event. You're running for lieutenant governor. You're both backstage, waiting to go on stage. What happened next?
Well, it happened also suddenly. It's, anyone who's ever been at a rally recognizes that there is just chaos. There's a lot of energy, that everyone's running back and forth. Eva Longoria was there. We were all lined up next to the stage. Eva was in front of me. Joe Biden was behind me. I'm kind of preparing myself to give these remarks. It's the very last days before the election. And very unexpectedly and out of nowhere, I feel Joe Biden put his hands on my shoulders, get up very close to me from behind, lean in, smell my hair, and then plant a slow kiss on the top of my head. And that in and of itself might not sound like it's a very serious thing. That in and of itself might sound like it was innocent and well-intentioned. But in the context of it, as a person that had absolutely no relationship with him afterwards, as a candidate who was preparing to make my case for why I should be elected the second in command of that state, to have the Vice President of the United States do that to me so unexpectedly and just kind of out of nowhere, it was just shocking. It was shocking because you don't expect that kind of intimate behavior. You don't expect that kind of intimacy from someone so powerful and someone who you just have no relationship whatsoever to touch you and to feel you and to be so close to you in that way. So I frankly just didn't even know how to react. I was just shocked. I felt powerless. I felt like I couldn't move. I just didn't even know how to process it. And my bigger point that I've been making is that in these power dynamic situations, and women are subjected to this in the political setting, but in work settings all the time, that you just kind of process it and then you move on because you have a job to do. And frankly, what do you say? Who do you tell? There just isn't really a mechanism to deal with it. And so that's what I did. I went on and I made my case and campaigned and frankly then went on with my life because, again, what do you do?
So, as you can see, Lucy says she had no relationship with this person. He was the vice president, someone there to purportedly help her win the second in command. And he touched her inappropriately, made her feel very uncomfortable. Here's another part. CNN tweeted, Lucy Flores, part of the reason why I decided to finally say something is because those behaviors were not being taken very seriously. I just can't imagine that there was never a situation where someone said to him, Mr. Vice President, you probably should stop doing that. And let's listen to her.
President Biden and his team just released a statement just moments ago from Mr. Biden. Here's what it says, quote, in my many years on the campaign trail and in public life, I have offered countless handshakes, hugs, expressions of affection, support, and comfort, and not once, never, did I believe I acted inappropriately. If it is suggested I did so, I will listen respectfully, but it was never my intention. We have arrived at an important time when women feel they can and should relate their experiences, and men should pay attention, and I will, unquote. What's your response?
Well, I certainly think that it's better than his first statement that they released on Saturday. I'm glad that he's willing to listen. I'm glad that he is clarifying his intentions. Frankly, my point was never about his intentions, and they shouldn't be about his intentions. It should be about the women on the receiving end of that behavior. And this isn't the first time, and it wasn't the only incident where he was acting inappropriately with women. If he is saying that he never believed that was...
Okay, so as she says, it's impossible that no one ever said to him, this is inappropriate. You shouldn't be doing this. Absolutely, someone has said that to him. Multiple people have to have said that to him. And the statement he offered, frankly, it doesn't focus on the women enough, or the woman. It doesn't focus on Lucy enough. It focuses on him and his intentions. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to buy that. And there's actually a longer statement that's been released as well. He has Bill Russo as his comms person. So here is the statement that Bill Russo posted on his Twitter from Joe Biden. Obviously, his comps people wrote it in the first place. In my many years on the campaign trail and in public life, I have offered countless handshakes, hugs, expressions of affection, support, and comfort. And not once, never, did I believe I acted inappropriately. If it is suggested I did so, I will listen respectfully, but it was never my intention. I may not recall these moments in the same way, and I may be surprised at what I hear, but we have arrived at an important time when women feel they can and should relate their experiences, and men should pay attention, and I will. Look at how many I's there are so far. I'll count them at the end of the statement. I will also remain the strongest advocate I can be for the rights of women. I will fight to build on the work I've done in my career to end violence against women and ensure women are treated with the equality they deserve. I will continue to surround myself with trusted women advisors who challenge me to see different perspectives than my own. And I will continue to speak out on these vitally important issues where there is much more progress to be made and crucial fights that must be waged and won. Okay, so this is dotted with I statements. This is not about the women. This is about Joe Biden. He's totally missing the point. His comms people are totally missing the point. So Mr. Bill Russo, if he wrote this, hopefully he's listening. This is not how you write a good statement when someone is accused of inappropriate touching and kissing. So here's how many I's there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I probably missed some. So 13 I's at least in this very small paragraph. I mean, that's not even good writing in the first place to say I. So it's really disturbing that even though he made kind of an apology, it wasn't good enough. It's too focused on Mr. Joe Biden. Once again, these Blue Dog Dems are missing the point. And it's so disturbing that people still support Joe Biden. I've put out a few tweets about this, and Hillary supporters, and you can tell they're Hillary supporters because they still have Hillary in their profiles and such, they defend him. They say, oh, you know, this can't be true, or these women are exaggerating, or, oh, so no one saw this? You know, obviously the woman's lying. And they're the ones who are supposed to be, you know, these are women. They're supposed to be on the side of women. They're supposed to believe women. And there are plenty of pictures and videos of this thing, of things like this, of him doing things like this. There aren't of Lucy Flores, but that doesn't matter because we have her words and we have photo and video evidence. I also want to mention that I reached out to Bill Russo, Joe Biden's comms person and the comms team. I reached out to the press contacts and did not hear back. I wanted comment on both Lucy Flores' accusation as well as some links I sent along with photo and video evidence of him doing the same thing to other women. And I do have something on my emails that allows me to see when people have opened the emails. My emails have been opened, but they have not been responded to. So that's all I have in the form of an update for you on Lucy Flores' accusation and what Joe Biden has responded with. It's not enough. It's too focused on Joe Biden, which is something I'll repeat until he finally gets it. And it seems he absolutely does not get it. And remember, smash that like button, share this content, and I'll see you next time.